What is the story behind these images, snapshots, and memories? Memories of the life and career of Jim Cervera, Virginia Beach's top cop.
Maybe it was a calling, maybe it was just fate, luck, whatever. I decided that I would be a police officer, and I've never been to work. In 44 years and 4 months, I've never been to work.
We met at his modest office where I requested he roll out his collection of photographs with the hope of learning who inspired this career cop to make policing his life's work.
Was drafted right after high school, went to Vietnam with the 1st Air Cavalry Division. He was highly decorated, and I know that because I met the soldiers who were with him. And he was killed in action February 3rd, 1968.
Cervera lost his brother Michael when he was only 13, but from that moment on, he says he was committed to honor him by serving in some way. He became a police officer in Montclair, New Jersey in 1976, and then this happened.
One of the other cops who worked there was stationed here and said, "You ought to go look at Virginia Beach." I came down and fell in love with the entire area.
The rest is the history of Cervera's climb within the ranks. Over the years, he made sergeant and team leader of SWAT. And as he rose in rank, so did the challenges. Notably, the now infamous 1989 clash at the oceanfront during Greek Fest.
In my humble estimation, 1989 was a spontaneous combustion. There was no incident that led to that particular civil disturbance. There were too many young people. Too many things were going on in separate parts of the country that kind of came together at one time.
Then Chief Chuck Wall assigned him to a team to deal with the aftermath.
We can plan for anything you want, but this needs a social solution. So what do you mean a social solution? We need to get out to the community. I think that's what started our community policing efforts. We met with citizens, and it was not a kumbaya meeting, a lot of it. It was tough. But, you know, once you give somebody your word, you're going to do something, and you follow through on it, your credibility increases, and that's what happened.
Fast forward to September 2010, and many promotions later. Cervera takes the helm as chief of police. And now, toward the end of his service, he reflects on his legacy and those who served before him.
I think Chuck Wall then built it. J. Cox professionalized it. I hope when I walk out, it would be that community spirit.
Meeting that goal may have been the final headline capping off his long career. But then May 31st, 2019 happened.
Shots fired, second floor.
Thing is, and it can never be overlooked, the absolute fantastic response those officers did during our horrific mass shooting in Building 2. I'm just glad that the cops were able to do what they did.
We walked near Building 2. The memory still fresh of that day when the resort city became a member of the club no one cares to join, the site of a mass shooting.
You know, one of the toughest things in policing is to knock on a door at night, and the first thing that you say is, "I regret to inform you," and it goes, and by the way, I go back to my brother, I remember that knock on the door. We had to do that 12 times.
As the pain and tragedy seemed unbearable, Chief Cervera once again underscored the unwavering strength and resolve of community.
I spent a lot of time in front of headquarters at the makeshift memorial, and so my strength came from the citizens. Tons of citizens came, hundreds came, and we talked. And they wanted to see the police. They wanted to see that they were going to be okay.
Now, nearly a year later, Chief Cervera is required by the city to retire as he turns 65 years old. But by every indication, we should not look for him to go quietly into that good night.
I've been blessed. I've also taught college for 25 years. So if you take teaching and you take experience in a police profession and you put those together, I think the retirement will not be total retirement.
Cervera left me with a closing thought. He says he has a lot more to give.
Yes, I do.
So stand by for news of his next chapter. In Virginia Beach, Barbara Ciara, News 3.